Hi everyone! Welcome back to another episode of our career builds where we are basically building a home for every single Sims 4 career. And today we are working on a criminal's home. So the criminal career is actually divided into several different areas. And recently on Twitch we played through I can't remember what the name of it was, but basically they were a kleptomania and a thief. So we ended up stealing things from the land grabs, we stole things from the Goth family, we stole things from, actually we pretty much I think we did every single museum in all of the worlds, and then all of the rich houses. Judith Ward we also stole from. So it was actually a really fun career. I do recommend it. It was the first time I did a full playthrough of it, and that was the inspiration behind today's build. So we are going in now to build a criminal's home with a secret lair out the back, which was an idea that we had actually on Twitch. We did it a little different. We did a basement. But then for this build, I thought it would be fun to do a separate trailer out the back that also has a basement, which I will reveal throughout the video. And that's where all of the crimes take place. So I kind of wanted the home itself, the home on the right, to be normal so that the criminal could have guests come over, maybe friends or neighbors, so it doesn't look too suspicious. And then only if you're invited to the secret lair out the back do you really realize what is going on here. So yeah, that's the kind of story behind it. So the actual house itself, I would say, is pretty nice. It's kind of modern, a little bit industrial as well. There are a few Easter eggs and a few clues that I've scattered around the build. But yeah, the idea is that the house itself is fairly normal, a little bit more dark and edgy. And then the lair out the back is their headquarters. So yeah, we're just now finishing up the shell of the house. I wanted it to be modern. I'm actually building all of these career homes in Brindleton Bay in the same area. Oh no, that's not true. We built one in Strangerville. Never mind. I thought I was building them all in the same world, but I actually have recently discovered this area of Brindleton Bay and I love it so much. So I'm going to probably focus a lot of them here. And the only thing that I don't like is this red brick that they have on the floor on the street just outside of the lot. We don't actually have it in game, which makes it very hard to match it up to the driveway or the pathway of a house. That's the only thing I struggled with, actually. Well, that's the thing I struggled with the most. But in the end, we just went with some terrain paint to do a driveway and a pathway leading up to the door. So for the driveway, I wanted to do something a little bit different and build a carport. I think it's called a carport. Basically where it's covered at the top. It's half covered. And it just adds a little bit of interest to the front half of the build. It was looking a little empty, this space. And normally I just put cars from Debug on the driveway and leave it as it is. But I thought we could do something a little bit more interesting. So I like how it turned out. You could also use it as storage if your sim maybe doesn't have a car. So yeah, that's what we are working on at the moment. And we've given our criminal a super nice car. Maybe it's stolen. And now I'm just going in with a few more debug items to section off the plants and some greenery. I didn't want it to be too well kept and too well maintained with landscaping and no flowers for sure, because I imagine the criminal doesn't have any time for that. So we've just gone with a fairly minimal landscaping, but it suits the world anyway, Brindleton Bay. So yeah, that's the kind of look that we've gone for. And then for the build itself, I wanted it to be kind of modern, as I said, and contemporary. So we've gone with the eco-living door. Love this door, don't use it enough, but actually doesn't work in all builds. It's a very acquired taste. But it looked good in this build. And then we go with Moschino windows. So yeah, such a nice combination. Moschino and eco-living. The two always work super well together. So yeah, we switch it out for Moschino, I think. Yes. I changed windows so many times. Yeah, and then the inside is fairly small. It's not a tiny home. It is, I want to say 130 tiles instead of 100. I originally wanted it to be a tiny home, to be honest, but I start all of these career homes calling them tiny homes. And then as soon as I'm starting the floor plan, that goes out the window and I make them slightly bigger. I just hate being restricted by the tile size. And I do like building small homes, but I also like having space to work with. So, and also the lair, the basement out the back, or the headquarters out the back with the basement has obviously taken up a lot of tile space. So finishing touches to the landscaping, we just do some greenery growing up the walls. And now we're onto the floor plan. So just a single sim living here. Maybe actually it could be a couple, power team. But it's just one bedroom, one bathroom, and then a big open plan kitchen, living, dining space. So as I said, this house is more normal looking. It's kind of dark and edgy and mysterious, but it is more normal looking. And then it's not until you get to the back that you realize something weird is going on. I started doing this half wall thing to create some kind of divide of the space. Probably, yeah, I don't like how this looks now. We do change where the half wall is, but I find open spaces can be quite overwhelming at the beginning. So I would always recommend doing a few half walls just scattered around the room to give you some kind of wall to work against, to like push a table up against it or a couch or a TV or something. It just helps fill the space better. But it looked good to put a table here. So we have a table and 4 chairs. And then the wallpapers and the flooring is just very dark, super dark and a little industrial, the metal on the right side. Then basically super simple layout, just the sofa and a TV against the window. We have the desk behind it. This desk is one of 2 desks. This is let's call it the day desk. And then the desk in the lair is our night desk. So this is our day desk. So there's more that meets the eye. I feel like that's a good way to describe this build. I had a few problems with the sofa because I really wanted to use the paranormal one, but it was too family looking. Like there was pillows and blankets and fuzzy things, and it just looked too family and heartwarming, and no, it was never going to work for a criminal. So I had to delete it. We went with this season's one, I think, in the end. It still has a pillow, but it's better than what the paranormal one had. And it adds a bit of color to the space, which I think was important because it was getting very dark in here. So, okay, then I put newspapers by the door because I thought maybe when they return home in the middle of the night from doing dirty business, they have newspaper to walk on so that they don't get their footprints or they don't transfer prints or blood or DNA or whatever. It's getting really dark now. It does not need to be that dark. We can keep it as innocent as we want. The criminal career in The Sims goes in many different directions. So it is what you make of it. Then we have the kitchen on the other side of the half wall. Actually a fairly large kitchen. This was bigger than what I had planned to, but then I thought maybe it's just work surface. So anything, you can do anything on those tables, surfaces, sorry. So yeah, it's just more surface for the criminal to work on. We just go with black appliances and then a few clutter pieces. I was debating about whether to do a fruit bowl. I thought maybe that's too kind of family friendly, but it adds nice color to the build, so I kept it. And then we added some random jars and a fish bowl or an aquarium because, I don't know, maybe that's a little passion of theirs, or they're working on some secret projects, or maybe they're stolen from the lab. But yeah, just basic clutter elsewhere. Not too much stuff. I didn't want it to be too cluttered, but just enough to give it some personality. And then on the other side of the kitchen, which is against the half wall, we have a tea and coffee station. I imagine they live off coffee because they are probably up all night. Actually, the criminal career, at least in the one that we played, your shifts were from 9 p.m. till like 4 a.m. So you're up all night and you're sleeping during the day. So we definitely had a lot of coffee during the Twitch stream. And a lot of microwave meals we actually did because my sim never had time to cook. So it was all microwave meals. So yeah, these are just helpful things for the career. And then here I wanted to section it off. I actually had no idea what to do with this space, but I've never used that divider before. And I just thought it looked kind of cool. I don't know why you would have it there, but it filled the space and I've never used it before. So, and we've done a little bit of antibacterial right by the door, maybe just to sanitize the hands after getting in from a job. So, finishing touches here, a few things to make it look a little industrial. I'm also, every so often, I stumble upon something for our lair. And like now, you'll just see me drag things onto this wall. All of these goodies that look stolen. The keys, I love that, framed keys. Lots of knives and swords, so they all go into the lair. But then we reorganize all of that in a second. And what else are we doing now? Filling that space. So yeah, I also thought maybe the sim here was a little bit of a bookworm, or they had a couple of books on something. I'm not sure. You do need to read, or you need to boost your mischief skill in the sim. So you do actually need to, or you could do it with social interactions, but our sim, I think, did it just by reading. So yeah, I do include a lot of books in the build. And I think that is pretty much it for the main space. It's very dark, but I think it's appropriate for the criminal career, for sure. It's kind of dark but eclectic. It's modern, but there's a few like random pieces in there that maybe they've stolen, that it just feels a little bit eclectic. Oh my goodness, yes! And then we found this shelf from Cats and Dogs, and it has chains and leashes on it, which you could easily have as a much more sinister meaning. So I'm sure you know what I mean. But yeah, I thought that was kind of fun for storytelling. And then we just have a plain bathroom, nothing special, a little bit unloved, no decorations in here, but I imagine they don't spend much time in there. So yeah, I didn't want to add too much stuff. It's also very small. I don't even know if it's usable, so I'll have to play test it and find out if it's usable. But this build will be on the gallery, by the way, in the next couple of days. So once this video goes live, it's under my username or gallery ID, hiemmanicole. And we have so far a chef's build on there. We have, what was the first one? Scientist. Yes, we have a scientist, we have a chef's build, and now we have a criminal. So I don't know, friends, what the fourth one should be. Feel free to leave me some suggestions about what careers you like playing with, what homes you would like to see next, I don't know, maybe we could do something fun and do like a home for 2 careers combined. Maybe 2 partners and they have different careers. So yeah, just leave me your suggestions on what you want to do next. We have so many options. So I do want to complete all of the careers next year. So yeah, we'll work our way through the list. And now we're just doing the bedroom. Nothing special. I've gone with the eco-living bed, a bedside table, a shelf to put some clutter on, which I thought was a good use of space because there was no space to put a real bedside table. And just a wardrobe and a chair. And that is it for the main house. And now we are on to the garden, it's basically just 2 armchairs. I imagine sometimes they just sit out there and they do like what's it called? Like a watch? Night watch. They do a night watch guarding their lair. We also have a bunch of CCTV cameras or security cameras spread around the build. And now we're working on the lair. So this is the top bit, which is the office. So I use a bunch of random electrical things and storage containers and a desk. So this is where I imagine they do most of their work and paperwork and stuff. So there's 2 computers in this build. So you can sell one of them if you need the money. And we have a few things on the walls. We have the shovel. They're actually garden things, but they could easily be more sinister. And just a bunch of random clutter items that look a little bit dark. So now or soon we're about to move downstairs. So I'm very excited for downstairs. I had so much fun building this. What you can do is delete the items that I placed and leave the containers. You'll see what I mean by containers, but basically leave the surfaces empty so that when you steal things, or when your sim steals things, I should say, you can then go and put them on top. So replace my items. But just to give you an idea of layout, I put things on top. And that's at least what we did on the Twitch stream, is that we had little pedestals and display cabinets, and then these things. And then we just, honestly, every couple of hours, we just went and we just went to random community lots and showed up to random homes and had fun swiping things. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. It has a cool personality down here. And we use the door from, I think it's a Get Famous door, which I have no idea why it's Get Famous, but it's a security door for a vault, so it's very appropriate. And then we have that, I think it's a lab table from Strangerville, so there's a few random apparatus and things on top of it, but just ignore them. I guess it's a good work surface. And then here in a second, you'll see we go and place a bunch of gold items. So we go into the sculptures category and we pull out the most expensive things that we could find. And there you go. And then we start placing them on top. And in our Twitch stream, we actually managed to swipe an entire piano from, it might have been the Goth family. So you can always extend this basement as your adventures continue. I think that would be so fun. Ours was huge by the end of it. So friends, that is it. We're coming to the end of the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing this, and I'm really enjoying the series. So feel free to leave suggestions down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!